hustle culture. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of room left for moms to be moms. Like, at 8 weeks, or 12 weeks, we got to go back to work and leave like a brand new baby still. Leave it. No wonder all these women are depressed and anxious because they're not supposed to leave their babies that early. You know what I mean? Like, let them bond, let them be in their roles. Like, do not expect them to raise babies and go to work full time and cook and clean, and then the women fall in that trap, like, oh my god, I gotta do everything, and then they end up so like stressed out, like, what's wrong with me? The fact that they forgot themselves and they're not prioritizing their own emotional needs, mental needs. Like, this is their time to wake up and start vocalizing what they need.
Ida is a mom of 2 little ones and 1 more on the way. She is passionate about helping women, especially young women and moms, rediscover their spark, find themselves, and live a life in their authentic purpose. She has a background in nursing and is currently working on starting her coaching business aimed at helping women. She is creating a welcoming, safe, fun, playful, non-judgmental community of women who are bold, fierce, in touch with their feelings, and who are willing to live life on their terms.
You are now tuning in to the All Things Good podcast.
Welcome, Eda. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great on this lovely day. You look amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about your journey on postpartum and motherhood. I know that it is not easy, but before we get into the questions and the topic of the day, I want to start with an icebreaker.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. What is one mom hack that actually worked for you?
Just simplifying my routines, prioritizing the important stuff and then cutting out everything that doesn't really matter, any little details that are not important. The simplification makes things so much easier.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Simplifying your life. It's when we're coming from a perspective that we always like to make things extra, it's like reprogramming yourself to kind of be like, okay, it's not that extra. Let's just one step. It's just one thing we have to do. So transitioning from the grand perspective to just narrowing it down, it's just like, okay, well, that actually works a lot better.
Yes. Yeah, because when you have little kids, that's the only thing you can do is, at least for me, from my experience, I have little kids around the house, so I cannot be extra. I just need to do simple, fun routines that allow me to, be a functioning mom, but also be present with my kids.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And that's important, especially now. Presence is so important.
Yes.
It's so important, especially because, I shared this with a couple of friends and I said, breaking generational curses looks like just being present.
Yeah.
For me and my family, like my mom and my dad weren't really present in those moments where I needed them the most,
Yeah.
And it's important that you're doing that. You're taking the time to simplify things so that you can become present with your kids. So I love that.
Yeah, and like that is such a good point that you make, because a lot of the times, like, our parents unintentionally do this, because they have, their own struggles in life. They're trying to raise us, they're trying to, you know, pay the bills, go to work, get a lot of stuff done throughout the day. So a lot of the times, and I'm guilty of it too, like I'm working on myself constantly on this, but a lot of the times we do that unintentionally to our kids. Just like we unconsciously pick up certain patterns from our parents too. So
Exactly. Yeah, most of the time I know it's just their survival, right? Doing what they know best.
yes.
So speaking of survival, can you share a little bit about your own journey into motherhood and what that season taught you about yourself? I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to say, first of all, that I do appreciate being here, and I hope that some of our mom listeners are tuning in, because I will be sharing some juicy insights. My motherhood journey was pretty rough to start with. Um, I, before I was a mom, before I got pregnant, I was like 135 pounds. And then after my first pregnancy, I was 200 pounds. So to start with, just externally, I was like a whole new different person. I didn't recognize myself. Um, so I was stuck like inside during COVID, away from family, right? You're stuck alone during COVID time, isolated. And I loved food. So all I did is just, cook and eat my heart out. So,
Right.
but yeah, when my first baby was born, I remember I was super vulnerable. I didn't really know how to I had to figure out how to discover being a mom and what that meant for me, and also like try to fit my like self and passions into this. It was
Mm,
pretty hard. I noticed like how high the standards were for moms. I noticed how high they work, how hard they work. All of the vaccines pretty much like just came apparent. Like I didn't know that, moms had to go through such, stressful mental breakdowns, raising a little newborn. All of a sudden, like you're handed with this huge responsibility. You have a brand new baby you have to take care of, that needs so much of your sleep, nourishment, energy. And then on the top of that, you have to figure out how to be like a happy, functioning adult. So it is pretty stressful, adding all the hormones, adding all the changes in family dynamics, which was, pretty much what was going on with me as well. I just had to like rediscover that process, I felt,
right.
yeah, I found myself along the way and I'm coming back very strong. So I'm proud of myself.
Awesome. So what would you say that it taught you? Would you say that you gathered that you were actually stronger than maybe you thought you were?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like there were so many times where I felt like so lost, so broken, so depleted, but I still have I don't know, somehow I still like have, energy and power in me to come
Mhm.
back, to keep going for myself first and then for my kids and family. So,
Right. So that just goes into my next question, where, it's often described, postpartum is often described as both beautiful and difficult. So can you give me an example how you personally experienced this duality?
yes. So, beautiful, I would call it like when I instantly like got to hold my baby, I just like became aware of like this love that I didn't know like I had in me all along. So it was just like, I don't know, this realization, this bonding happening, this new feeling that you get to experience for the first time.
Right.
Um, but I would say it was difficult in terms of, the external environment and the support that there is for moms. Like, I feel it. I know there's not like enough social resources for moms, enough like mental and emotional support as well from society. Because moms are like the foundation of a family or role is so important in raising a child. And then how is that child going to grow into an adult, right? You want them to be a happy, healthy adult.
Right.
But by not supporting moms, like collectively, like the society will not benefit, because you're not there, you're running society on these depleted moms who are raising kids, on empty. And I don't want that for women. I want them to feel very like confident in themselves and very like filled with joy and love and self-respect, and I just want to give them the credit that they deserve.
Right. I mean, I can only imagine. And then having, like, I have a couple of people in my life that have several kids, and the kids are very, very close in age.
Mm-hmm.
So even that I know can be stressful for, even if it's a single parent or two parent household, it can be very, it's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress because they're so close in age, they're fighting. Plus, at the same time, you don't want to lose yourself in the midst of it. But
Yes.
somehow women, mostly women, unfortunately, tend to lose themselves in this process. So how did you find yourself? How did that journey look like for you? What did you begin to do to begin to find yourself again?
First of all, like finding yourself is one of the best investments you can have in yourself. And for me, it wasn't hard. I actually love finding myself. I actually love standing up for myself, like learning new skills on how to adapt, how to, become a better person, how to cope better with things. Like it was actually really fun. And like even as I'm changing right now, like because obviously no one is perfect, we're always evolving. I celebrate like every little win. Like it's so fun for me to see that like I'm accomplishing things and I'm proving to myself that it's not so hard after all and I can do this, you know. It doesn't have to be, you know, sad, depressing, isolating. It can be empowering. Like you got to use this as fuel to help yourself get out of the rut, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah. Another thing I do want to touch on is that like in a lot of cultures, like even my culture, like women are sort of expected to like find fulfillment in just like being home raising kids. And for me, that was not the case. I knew like deep down that nothing was wrong with me. It was just like a matter of time until I found, you know, my voice and faith in myself and like found my path, you know?
Right.
So.
I love the pointer of celebrating little wins, like just even the tiniest wins. That is a really good perspective.
Thank
That is what the All Things Good podcast is about, is looking at the positive things. So what are some ways that someone can celebrate wins? Like just small day to day, even like when you're taking care of of your kids and, you know, doing your motherly duties. What are some small wins that people or women can celebrate?
I know it may sound silly to like a lot of people, but sometimes you're just so tired, you're running on empty, and just like sitting down, stopping yourself to be present with your kids and taking a deep breath. It's like, okay, good job, you did this. Like, enjoy it. This is your moment. Or like, oh my God, I got the kids, you know, to school on time, or I got them all dressed up and in the car. Good job. Like, it's
Yes.
hard work because you have, especially when you have, like you said, like a lot of little kids close in age and they each need you, you know? And
Right.
then, like, anything that you get accomplished, you should celebrate it. You should give yourself credit for it, not to be like, you know, entitled or whatever, but you should just, you know, celebrate yourself. It's not easy, you know, especially like when my husband tries to do it and he just like I notice sometimes he might get like more frustrated or doesn't know because I'm the primary like caregiver that stays with them. So it's
Right.
not as easy as it looks, you know.
I completely understand. And I love that. I love that you bring that perspective because I can just imagine. I mean, even me when I had my child, my daughter is 18, about to be 18 now. So the whole process of having to do what you're doing is not the same for me, right? It looks different.
Yeah.
But in those younger stages, in those infant and toddler stages, it was
Mhm.
tough. It was
Yeah.
really tough. And, you know, sometimes you think you're not a good enough mother. You think you're doing something wrong. You know, can I be doing better? And that's honestly a question that I think a mother will always have.
Yeah.
Can I do something better? You know, is my child okay? Can I be doing things differently? And just ending the day with a self, like a patting your own back on the shoulder, patting your own back, I think is a good way to end it so that you're not so hard on yourself. Because in reality, we're doing is trying, right? We're all doing the best that we can. A lot of
Mhm.
us weren't taught how to be a mother. You know, we were just thrown in there through situations and, you know, decisions, but
Mhm.
we're all doing our best. And I
Yeah.
love that you added that perspective.
Yeah, you know, you always have to do your best and do not be like a harsh critic on yourself because it's like self-sabotaging you and then you're also going to project that to your kids at some point. So you really want to work on that wound, you know, the self-worth wound and be gentle on yourself. It's a hard job. It takes a lot of energy, you know, emotionally, physically, mentally. So like just have grace with yourself. I mean, it's supposed to be a phase where things are sloppy, right? Just go with the flow, you know, let the house be messy, be more present. Let your kids relax you by hugging you, by, you know, giggles, fun, you know, cuddles, all that. Like that, I use that to like help calm me down, you know.
Right.
When I need a break, when I'm, you know, trying to get everything done, and then my kids are like, Mom, come play with us, you know, and that's like my sign, you know, and they always like help me relax so much, you know, their pure
Right.
love, their unfiltered jokes, like it's amazing for me. So yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, add that. Edad. Right? Edad.
Yep, you said it right.
What role do boundaries play in your rediscovery?
Oh my God, I love my boundaries. They're like my little protectors, okay? I had left them wide open for way too long. I didn't really know how to defend myself. Before I was, stuck in like people pleaser versus like not knowing how to vocalize my needs. But being a mom like really taught me the importance of like assigning tasks, delegating things if you want, the right kind of help. So boundaries are really, really important for me. They help me feel protected and at peace. They show me who's real and who is willing to, work with me. They also like, cleared out a lot of friendships that were misaligned for me,
Right.
you know, and they create more room for like new friendships, people that, have mutual respect, shared interests, and want to like just go with your flow and respect you for who you are and appreciate you.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really happy about the way that I learned to develop boundaries. I was pretty scared to, put them up at first, but like the more I did it, the more I proved to myself that I can do this and that, it just helped me believe in myself more. It helped build my self-esteem. And every time like it was successful, it might not start like, it might not sound really confident, but the fact that you're vocalizing your needs and you're stating what you really want, honestly, it's still a big step because a lot of people, are scared to have honest conversations. But, if it's gonna sacrifice you, then it needs to be, a boundary has to be placed. You gotta prioritize yourself, your mental clarity, your peace of mind first.
For sure. I mean, motherhood in itself is already a self-sacrifice. And then having to sacrifice yourself in other areas, whether it be in friendships or relationships, like at what point do the lines, at what point are the lines drawn, right?
Yeah.
And it brings me to like, I have a friend who has multiple kids, and she was telling me about a story where she had to put boundaries on a friend because she's like, hey, I'm a mother before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You. And I think that's important to kind of state to your friends when they require something or they need something. And it's like, hold on, my boundary, my kids are first. And
Yeah.
I think often in our selfishness, we tend to forget such and such is a mother, such and such is a father, or such and such has this going on. And so placing those boundaries are very, very important.
Especially like not only like with friends, but even like with family. Say you're just like freshly from postpartum and you really want just like alone quality time with your baby, your family for bonding. You just really, crave that time. Like you can gently, place a boundary and let them know, like, look, this is a vulnerable phase for me. Please don't take anything the wrong way. I really do appreciate you. I will definitely let you know like how you can help me. I just want some quiet time right now for healing and bonding. Like that's placing a boundary right there. And,
Right.
because if you don't put that boundary, you're going to start resenting people. And you don't want to blow up one day, when you could have just easily like stated what you wanted from the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You mentioned help. Did you ever, or how important is help? I know when it comes to motherhood, like for me, when I first became a mom, I was like, I got this. Like, no one touched my daughter. Right? I was like, my mother said I was like the pit bull. I would like, she's like, if she tried to go for my daughter, like I would get upset. And I did because it was like my baby, right?
That's not
And
so.
and often we think, we got this, we got this. And if we ask for help, we seem weak. We seem as if we don't know what we're doing. We're not a fit mother. How important is asking for help?
Asking for help is extremely important and help is super necessary. Like mothers are not supposed to do everything alone. I mean, I was the same way. I was, the person that was scared to ask for help. I felt like I was being inconvenient. But that's not the case. Like, motherhood is very hard. You should not be scared to ask for help. And even if you're not like completely like yourself, like if you seem a little cranky, like that's also completely normal because you get those hormonal shifts that are happening in postpartum. And also like I know the amygdala like is heightened or highlighted during postpartum. It's meant to make you like really sensitive to your baby's needs, but
Yeah.
it's like a double-edged sword because you can also come out like really cranky with other people. I mean, people should understand you and be more compassionate. Like, a lot is happening for you right now. Try to, work on allowing yourself to receive the help. Maybe do some shadow work as to why doing everything by yourself is important to you, and what would that mean if you were to receive help. Does it mean that you're less than? Does it mean that you're not as good? Because then that would be that worthiness wound that you need to work on, but
Right.
help is important. Like, see it as a blessing. There's nothing wrong with it. You can delegate the kind of help that you want. If you want to spend more time with your baby bonding, then you can delegate doing chores. Or if you want to take some time for yourself, they can hold your baby and you can go take a shower or go for a walk to clear your mind. But like, please, if you do have help, take it. We're not supposed to be doing this alone. Empower each other. So,
Right. I love that. Yeah, help is definitely necessary. And like you said, I think it really stems from a wound where we feel as though we have to operate in this place. In a history lately, women have been very, very masculine, very dominant, and very just, oh,
mhm,
babe, I don't need anything. Don't help me. I got this. But
mhm,
I'm finding that that is very, very toxic. As much as we think it's empowering, it's not. It's not a move of empowerment. It's a move of toxicity because we
mhm.
help. And like you said, making room to receive help softens us. It prevents resentment, as you stated earlier. It prevents bitterness. It prevents burnouts. And
Yes.
so I think it's very important. I like that you mentioned that, to leave room for receiving help so that you can sustain your softness in your journey back and discovering yourself.
Yeah, like, also, like, who are you trying to prove that to, that you're doing everything by yourself, right? Who you got to ask, like, deeply reflect, like, who do you need to prove it to that you accomplished all of this all on your own, I mean, at the end of the day, when I went through that phase, it only left me burned out, bitter, angry, and it wasn't good. Like, it was not the right approach for me, to take.
Right.
So,
And then also considering the children,
yeah.
because they receive that energy, that anger, that frustration, they can feel it. And
Hmm.
so when you're asking for help, it's not just for you, it's for the kid as well. Like, it benefits the children. So, I want our listeners who are mothers who may be going through postpartum to understand that receiving help is a blessing. As you mentioned, it's a blessing. And it's doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're unfit. It actually means that you're self-aware and you're
Hmm.
strong enough to say, you know what? I can't do this by myself. And
Yeah.
there's so much power in community and help. And they have that saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And
Yeah.
sometimes the village isn't always the healthiest village, but there's certain ways that people can help. So
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I do want to say, like, in modern society, like, everyone is just, get up and go to work and, busy day, hustle culture. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of room left for moms to be moms. Like, at 8 weeks, or 12 weeks, we got to go back to work and leave like a brand new baby still. Leave it. No wonder all these women are depressed and anxious because they're not supposed to leave their babies that
right.
early. You know what I mean? Like, let them bond, let them be in their roles. Like, do not expect them to raise babies and go to work full time and cook and clean. And then the women fall in that trap, like, oh my God, I gotta do everything. And then they end up so like stressed out, like, what's wrong with me? The fact that they forgot themselves and they're not prioritizing their own emotional needs, mental needs. Like, this is their time to wake up and start vocalizing what they need.
Right.
That's a strength. That's not a weakness.
Right.
So
And getting rid of perfectionist, like it's such a like I need to play the part. I need to do this. And man, listen, if you can't be the baseball mom or the soccer mom, then don't be the soccer mom for a while. You know what I mean? Like I get it. You want your kids to enjoy things, but what about your mental health? What about your kids? Like there's certain things that I believe we should really look at and not play the mom that feels like we need to do everything and provide our kids with everything that we did. And yes, that is our goal, right? To break those curses, to give our kids more than what we had. But if the resources aren't there, if your time and your energy is being like just wasted or just drained, then maybe
yeah,
just kick back for a little bit. It's okay to kick back.
yeah,
I say, and I'm not a therapist and I'm not a, you know, a specialist in motherhood, but for me, I'm just saying, in my perspective, it's okay to just not do anything. You know what? This today, I'm not even gonna cook. Like it's okay to just sit back and not cook.
yeah,
Maybe order
exactly.
out. Like, you know, there's certain things that we can do to kind of just balance and get some time for yourself.
Yeah, like just if you feel like drained or super stressed, just remember like you need to do something that will bring you balance. Like the importance of balance is actually gonna help you out a lot more than you like going into overdrive and like trying to do everything right, be the perfect
Right.
mom, take your kids everywhere, but then inside of you you're just stressed. Like you're not really present if you're also rushing them to every place, you know what I mean? So just try to find your own balance and what that means for you in your life.
Right. I love that. And speaking of balance, so what daily practices or small shifts did you find to be the most powerful in your life?
Yes. So for me, I started with like reading books I really liked. Like anytime I had 30 minutes to myself, I would put some like relaxing YouTube music and like go into reading my book, like leave my phone, do not, get scrolling on social media and just like do something super relaxing. I would do like fun short workouts when my kids were playing like with their toys. I would have like a very fast like YouTube like short workout mom video. That helped me a lot. I do like meditation, self-reflection. I like to start my day slowly. That's really important. Like before I became a mom, I would just, get up and go knowing that I would come back from work and have all this time to myself to relax. Being a mom is a constant job. You really need to find that balance to care for yourself. Otherwise, you will get burned out. Like if you keep pushing your needs back and back for later.
Right.
So, yeah.
Definitely. I love that. I love that, especially the slowing down. And even though that might seem hard when you're a mother with multiple children, but maybe trying to get up a bit earlier. And I know that's tough too because you want to sleep, but there has to be something like there has to be something in your routine that you can do differently. And it just to me just takes self-awareness, right? Just looking at your
Yeah.
schedule, looking at what your day-to-day looks like and how you can begin to implement those shifts.
Yeah, self-awareness and intuition as well. Like you got to listen to that little voice inside of you. What is best for you right now? Do you need to wash the dishes really late at night, or do you really need to go to sleep and relax? Like
Right.
I've done both. Like it depends. You just have to, feel your body, how your emotions, how you're feeling, and just listen to that voice.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. How can friends, families, or partners better support women in postpartum recovery? Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And I know we kind of touched on that on a bit, but what are some other ways that we can, the outside world can help mothers going through this?
Yeah, meet them in a compassionate and not non-judgmental way. Like honor their requests. Do not question their needs. Like they shouldn't have to explain why they need to like really go step away for a second. Help them feel validated and believe in them more than they believe in themselves because this is such a vulnerable period. Like they are thinking they're screwing everything up, as we just mentioned earlier. A lot of women just feel, oh my God, am I good enough? Oh my God, I feel so guilty for not doing this. Like they already have those wounds inside of them. So you need to empower them and believe in them, because they're going through one of the hardest phases in their life, and you want them to feel validated, they deserve that. Also, like, you could, cook some healthy meals, cut up some fruit, refill their water bottles, show up and just be present. Like, when you show up, don't expect them to, entertain you or host you. Like, do not feel offended if they're not talking like they normally were, like before, because at this phase, like, their self-care is so behind. So they just really need to, like, be present and nurture themselves. Maybe bring them a heating pad for sore muscles. Maybe offer to watch the baby while they can, go shower, take a walk, clear their head. Let them vent. Let them know that they're doing so well. Believe in them and have faith in them, because they will definitely come back more powerful. So
Yes, I love that. I love that. For some reason, I don't know why, and it's kind of funny, but like if your kids are, I'm thinking like, man, I'm sure like mothers want to get their feet done and their nails and massages. Use your kids. Tell your kids if they're older, mommy could use a little massage.
I know mine already do that, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the gift I get. This is amazing.
Listen, use those kids to your advantage.
They're very sweet. They're very sweet.
Yeah, and they will. And honestly, most kids, like depending on their age, they'll be like, okay, mommy, and they'll try it. And it might not make a difference, but it's still cute to kind of like do that, pinch your toes or give you a little massage.
Yeah, like right now I'm pregnant, so I have this like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's uh like a big pillow with like a hole in it, and I lay down on there, and my girls, like 5-year-old and 3-year-old, they just automatically came and started putting lotion on my hands and started massaging me, and I was just like, oh, okay, thank you.
Yes,
So
they
it was like
need that.
a sweet treat, Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Anna, this has been awesome. I really truly believe that this is going to be helpful for a lot of mothers silently going through this. And I do have one thing. There was a post that I've seen, and it was a friend of mine, she posted, when we've reached out to you for like to help, not help, but like just to talk or anything, we don't want to hear you got this. Because saying you got this doesn't really actually help. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that? Because I tend to do that. Like when someone says, I'm going through this, or this is really hard, I'm like, you got this. And it's the right intention, trying to encourage, but at that point in time, the mother is drowning. So how can we kind of like convert our language and the words that we speak to help mothers?
Yeah, I would say maybe just kind of, assess the situation, try to, ask her more, detailed questions about, is there any way like I can help you? I know you're doing great. I know you're a superwoman, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it all on your own. Like, I'm really here for you, honestly. Like, anytime you need me, please let me know. Or you can just ask, like, what are some things that you're struggling with right now that, you can delegate to me. I will help you, You want me to show up, watch the kids, bring some groceries, anything. Like, just ask detailed questions and kind of assess like how they're feeling, how they sound, maybe read between the lines. Sometimes a lot of people have a hard time expressing their needs. So, yeah.
Right. I like that. So saying still still approaching them with the encouragement, but also asking. So you said, I know that you're strong and you've been doing well, but is there anything that you need? I love that. I love that process. I love that technique, because I've seen that and I felt kind of guilty. I'm like, I kind of do that. Like, you got this. And like, you're a strong mom, but I never really question, is there anything that you need? And I guess that's kind of.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, we mean well. We're, our friends, know we mean well too. So, just communication and clarifying and good intentions. So,
Exactly. It's all about the intentions. Okay, Eda, so where can our listeners find you? What coaching programs do you have? Any groups, anything that they can connect with you? Tell us.
I'm currently doing one-on-one coaching sessions and working on implementing a mom support program, mom and women actually. It can benefit both, women and moms, especially like postpartum phase. I do have an Instagram. It's called Ada Coaching, EDA Coaching. And then same with TikTok as well. You can follow me on there. I will eventually start, implementing like workshops and, group work that I do want to help out moms and work with them. I think they deserve the best. So,
they sure do. Yeah. Thank you so much. This has truly been a pleasure. And I know that our listeners will have gained so much wisdom and insight from you and so much help and understanding. Like you are being a voice. You're a voice for women who are suffering with postpartum and don't want to talk about it. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
No problem. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye.